The errand boy. You're 17. You live in a neighborhood where the electricity goes out twice a week and the police only show up to take money, not solve crimes. Someone you grew up with pulls you aside one afternoon. He tells you, it's simple. You carry a backpack from one corner to another. You don't open it. You don't ask questions. You hand it to a man in a red cap and you walk away. That's it. You get paid $400. $400 for a 15-minute walk. You've never held that much money in your life, so you do it again and again. Nobody explains anything to you. Nobody needs to. You already understand the rules. You don't talk. You don't look. You don't ask. Within 2 weeks, you know 3 pickup points, 2 safe houses, and the first names of 6 men who you understand, without being told, could make you disappear. But you don't think about that part. You think about the money. You think about your mother's face when the lights stay on all month. You're not in the cartel. You're just running errands. That's what you tell yourself. The lookout. 3 months in, they give you a corner. Not a job. A post. You stand there from 10 at night until 4 in the morning and you watch. You memorize every car, every face, every pattern. If something feels wrong, you send a single text, 1 word, nothing else. You never meet the people at the top. You talk to one man, your handler, a quiet guy in his 30s named Marcos. He never raises his voice. He never smiles either. Marcos pays you weekly now, $1,200. You start wearing better shoes. You start noticing who notices you. One night, a car slows down near your corner. Dark windows, no plates, your chest tightens. You send the text. 3 minutes later, the car moves on. Marcos calls you the next morning. He tells you that you did well. He tells you that the men in that car were from a rival, that they were watching for weaknesses. He tells you that you are not a weakness. For the first time, you feel something you can't quite name. It isn't pride exactly. It's closer to belonging. The soldier. They give you a gun, not handed to you directly. It appears in a bag outside your door one morning. You know what it means. Your job changes. You're not watching anymore. Now you're enforcing. Someone in the neighborhood owes money. Marcos gives you an address and a message to deliver. Not written down, spoken once. You go alone. You knock on the door. The man who opens it is older than you expected. He has a kid on his hip. You deliver the message. The man nods. He doesn't make eye contact. You walk back to your car and you sit there for a long time. You don't sleep well for a week, but you go back when they call. And the second time is easier than the first. The third time, you don't sit in your car afterward at all. That's when you understand something that nobody tells you directly. The cartel doesn't break you from the outside. It breaks you from the inside. Slowly, one compromise at a time. The trusted one, 18 months in. You've been tested in ways you don't talk about. Marcos introduces you to someone new. His name is El Contador, the accountant. He's not a street man. He wears pressed shirts. He drives a clean car. He smells like cologne, not cigarettes. He runs the money. Your new job is moving cash. Not product, not weapons, cash, duffel bags, suitcases. Sometimes sealed boxes shipped through businesses that sell ceramic tiles or restaurant equipment. You drive it across 3 state lines. You learn which border agents look the other way. You learn which judges are on the payroll. You begin to see the real shape of this thing for the first time. It is not a gang. It is not a crew. It is a corporation. And it reaches further than you ever imagined. You're making $6,000 a week now. You have a new apartment, new car. You send money home without explaining where it comes from. Your mother stops asking. You stop sleeping with the gun on the nightstand and start sleeping with it under the pillow. The difference matters. The manager. You have 12 people reporting to you now. You don't know all their names. You know their roles. You run 2 corridors and 1 distribution point on the edge of the city. El Contador reports your numbers upward, and someone you've never met approves your budget. This is the first time you understand the phrase, you are a middle manager in an empire. The money is extraordinary, but so is the pressure. One of your men skims from a shipment. Not much, barely noticeable, but El Contador notices everything. He calls you, not your man. You. The message is clear. It is your responsibility. You handle it. You don't sleep for 3 days after. But the next shipment arrives on time, on count, no problems. Your reputation grows quiet and solid. In this world, that is everything. Quiet and solid means trustworthy. Trustworthy means alive. The strategist. You get a phone call. Not from Marcos, not from El Contador, from someone above them. His voice is calm, almost bored. He invites you to a meeting. You drive 4 hours to a ranch outside the city. There are men with rifles at the gate. There are helicopters on a landing pad. There is a dining table with linen napkins and wine that costs more than your first car. The man sitting at the head of the table is not what you expected. He is 50-something, soft-spoken. He asks about your family. He compliments your numbers. Then he offers you a new position. You will no longer manage corners. You will manage relationships. Politicians, police chiefs, port directors, federal inspectors. You will be the person who ensures that the infrastructure stays clean. The person who makes sure that the right people look away at the right moment. You will never touch product again. You will never need to. Your new salary is not counted in weekly payments. It is counted in percentages of everything. You say yes. What choice is there, really? When men like this invite you to a meeting, there are only 2 ways to leave. As an ally, or not at all. The untouchable. 2 years later, you attend a fundraiser for a senator. You shake hands with him. He knows who you are. He doesn't flinch. You have helped 3 governors win their elections. You control which contracts go to which construction firms. You have a lawyer on retainer who has never lost a case, because the cases never reach a courtroom. You have a second phone, a third identity, a property in a country with no extradition treaty. From the outside, you are a businessman. Import, export, logistics, consulting, the kind of vague, respectable thing that nobody questions at dinner parties. But you know what you are. You know exactly what you are. You lie in bed in a house worth $4 million, and you listen to the silence, and something in it terrifies you. Not danger. Silence is not dangerous at your level. What terrifies you is that you can no longer tell the difference between what you chose and what chose you. You try to remember the 17-year-old carrying a backpack across a street corner. You can barely find him. The ghost. Nobody says your real name anymore. Not even people who've known you for years. You have 3 aliases, 2 passports, and a network of shell companies spread across 9 countries. The organization protects you like an organ in a body, not because they love you, but because you are essential. You move between cities the way other people change clothes. Bogota on Monday, Miami on Wednesday, Zurich by the weekend. You have not spoken to your mother in 4 months, not because you don't want to, because every contact is a vulnerability, because the people above you, and there are still people above you, are watching everything, including loyalty, including attachment, including weakness. You start to understand that at this level, the cartel does not control governments the way you once imagined. It does not sit in a war room and give orders to presidents. It is subtler than that. It is patience. It is favors that accumulate over decades. It is the slow erosion of principle one compromise at a time, in institutions, in people, the same way it happened to you. You are not just part of the system. You are proof of how the system works. The paranoia. Something shifts. It starts small. A shipment goes missing in a port you personally cleared. Someone you trusted for 7 years stops returning calls. Then you hear a name. Your name, not your alias. Your real name. Mentioned in a federal filing that your lawyer shouldn't have been able to find, but did. Someone is building a case, or someone inside is talking. Maybe both. You sit in a hotel room in a city you won't name, and you go through every relationship in your head, every meeting, every handshake, every man who has ever seen your face and knows what it means. The list is long, too long. This is the calculation that kills people at your level. Not bullets, The math of betrayal. Who benefits if you fall? Almost everyone. You put on your jacket, you make 3 calls. 1 to your lawyer, 1 to a man in a country with mountains and no extradition, 1 to someone inside the organization whose loyalty you have paid for, specifically because you always knew this day would come. You don't panic. You planned for this. But planning for something and living through it are not the same thing. Your hands are steady. Your chest is not. The decision. There are 2 versions of how this ends. You have seen both of them happen to men who sat exactly where you are sitting now. Version 1. You run. You get to that country with the mountains. You live quietly for years. No power, no organization, no name, just alive, watching the news from a distance, seeing the people you built things with get arrested or buried, and feeling something that is not quite relief and not quite grief, something in between, something hollow. Version 2. You fight back. You use everything you have, the information, the contacts, the leverage you have accumulated on people in buildings with marble floors and national flags outside. You go to war inside the machine, and maybe you win, and maybe you stay, and maybe you become the man at the head of the linen napkin table, and one day you invite someone young and sharp and hungry to a ranch outside the city, and you offer them a position, and the cycle continues, because that is the real structure of this world. Not levels, not ranks, a circle. The only question that has ever mattered is not how high you climbed. It is whether you can find the exit before the circle closes around you. Most don't. You already know which one you are.